Welcome to Everlasting Talk. Hello, welcome to Everlasting Talk. I'm your host, Ever, and today in the Biography series, we're talking about Ashurbanipal. Before I get started, make sure to go to my links below. Follow me on X, Instagram, Twitch, Kick. Get your merch on Spring. Also, we're setting up a Buy Me a Coffee at the moment. We're on Buy Me a Coffee now, but I haven't really set up any payment plans, but I definitely appreciate it if you guys support me and get better equipment, better video equipment, and so much more, editing equipment. So I'll get all that good stuff, But let's get started. Ashurbanipal was the last strong ruler of the Neo-Assyrian Empire. He's remembered as a fierce warrior and a patron of culture. His reign reached the zenith of power, but also its decline. Ashurbanipal's accomplishments, mostly in literature and governance, left an indelible mark in history. Born around 685 BC in the capital city of Neviah, modern-day Iraq, son of Esarhaddon, the king of Assyria. Ashurbanipal, born into royalty, like his father, rebuilt Babylon and expanded Assyrian borders. He from birth was trained to become a leader, but not the heir of the throne. It was actually his older brother, Shamash Shum Ukin, who was next in line, and Ashurbanipal was going into the military and also into administration. His education included diplomacy, military tactics, and controversially, literature. He learned to read and write in multiple languages, like Sumerian and other languages as well, which was rare for royalty at the time. I say controversial because they were not really, Assyrian leaders were not meant to learn literature. That's kind of out of their spectrum, out of their realm. But Ashurbanipal did. Ashurbanipal will actually witness constant warfare within the empire and also externally as well. He would take part in his father's military campaigns, getting experience in war, and also forging relationships with elites, which later played a role in him and later on. In 668, Esarhaddon's death, which at the time Ashurbanipal was 17 years old or so, 17, 18, Ashurbanipal became the king of Assyria, and his brother became king of Babylon. Which created so much tension from the start because Babylon was under control of Assyria. So it was definitely something where it could be contested down the road. Early in his reign, Ashurbanipal took Egypt, controlling the Nile Valley, and also launched multiple campaigns from there. Later on, actually beating the Amalekites, which is in modern-day Iran, further expanding the empire. So he was definitely competent as a military leader with his campaigns in Egypt and against the Amalekites in Iran, current-day Iran. He eventually cemented his legacy as a warrior king, feared by his enemies and respected by his subjects. The key moment came in 652 BC when his brother Shamash Shum Akin rebelled, wanting Babylon independence. He wanted a separate kingdom. He didn't want to be under Assyria anymore, which started a civil war, a blood feud, blood versus blood, brother versus brother. It could be neighbor versus neighbor, all that stuff. The war was brutal. Eventually, his brother allied with Assyria's biggest enemies, but it was to no avail. Eventually, in 648 BC, Babylon was besieged, and Shamash Shum Akin was dead. Some say he either died in the flames of the city as the city was burning to the ground, or he took his own life just to save himself from getting captured by his brother and maybe getting worse punishment, especially rebelling against your own sibling, against your own kingdom as well. Ashurbanipal showed no mercy on Babylon. Like I said, he burned it to the ground, but eventually he let it rebuild. He was not that cruel, but he was, he was still very, very, he knew the history of Babylon, and he knew that he had to rebuild it. With his brother's death, he now cemented his full reign in the kingdom. He had no one to oppose him. But the constant warfare eventually, like any empire, takes a toll on it. on its resources, on its military, on its people, things like that. Although Ashurbanipal would project strength, economic exhaustion, and other factors, the foundations of the empire would start to crumble. Ashurbanipal's death would be disputed by historians. What I read, some say he died in 631 BC, others say with evidence 627 BC, and there's no cause of death. There's no nobody really knows how he died. He did die in the city of Nineveh, which is in Iraq. Eventually, the empire would fall in 612 BC, about 15 years after Ashurbanipal died. He was married and had 3 sons, with his grandson Ashurbanipal II being the last ruler of Assyria. Ashurbanipal's legacy is not just his military prowess, but also his contributions to culture and learning. Established the library Ashurbanipal, counting over 10,000 texts. The library itself was actually burned during the 612 campaign where the kingdom fell. So it was kind of interesting because the library did burn to the ground, but a lot of the texts were saved because they were clay, so they hardened. So a lot of them, like the Epic of Gilgamesh was in there. So actually the fire actually hardened the clay tablet and saved that document as well as other ones, which now is presented as the Ashurbanipal Library Project. And some pieces are still in Iraq, but other pieces are at the British Museum. So maybe the British or whatever they're called, the British or the English might return that one day, but who knows? His peak of power of us, was make Assyria the biggest empire at the time. He's trying to establish the empire, but eventually its downfall came with weak leadership after his death. Like I said, kingdom fell. He showed a leader can be a warrior and also has culture, has literacy, education being an important aspect of it as well. And like I said, the library was around, but got burned down to the ground. And then, now the library project itself, the Ashurbanipal Library Project, is about 30,000 strong in tablets. And like I said, it's actually at the University of Mosul in Iraq, and also most of the library or the pieces are in the British Museum. So let's see what happens there. But yeah, this is a brief history of Ashurbanipal. Here's some things you could look out for or check out. You could check out The Might That Was Assyria by H.W.F. Saggs, which is a book. You could check out the Library of Ashurbanipal. There's some documents written by Stephanie Dalley. She wrote some stuff on the Empire of Assyria and Babylon, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Check that out. Also check out Assyria, The Rise and Fall of the World's First Empire by Eckhart Fromm. Check it out as well. But yeah, that was a history of Ashurbanipal. I don't know if you ever heard of him. If you haven't, I would appreciate you guys commenting and let me know if you have heard about them. And if you learned something new, I appreciate it. I definitely want to reach out to people about different people throughout the history they haven't heard about. And next time we're talking about Shrajendra Chola. So that's someone, if you ever heard about, definitely check out next episode. But yeah, this is it. Thank you guys so much for joining me on the biography of Ashurbanipal. And make sure to go to my social media links below. Like I said, check out my Instagram, X, Twitch, Kick. Also establishing my Buy Me a Coffee. So once I get that up and running, I really appreciate your support for better equipment, better editing content, editing software and things like that. Well, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of Everlasting Talk. For more content, follow us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram at Everlasting Talk. Thank you.